Excuse me? So basically, yeah. I said I'm not easy. Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I think. No, y'all good. I'm trying to find Jersey.
All right, everybody, if we could take our seats. We're about to start at our 11:30 panel. Thank you kindly. See you later. Okay, we will get started momentarily. I think we all learned a little bit from the first panel about our questions, so we'll make sure we leave a little bit more time for that. Very happy to see so many enthusiastic folks looking to ask some really engaging and meaningful questions. So be thinking about those as we move through this panel. I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, so a little bit of a segue from our Pathway to Career panel if you were with us for the 10 o'clock. So again, very excited to have you all here. I understand that people have meetings, they're coming and going, so we totally understand that as you need to. Also note the balcony level is open if anybody is seeking seats back there in the back. All right, and we will get started in just a moment. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to our second panel of the day. I know it's a great big full day. Everyone's thinking about their questions, so thank you in advance. It is my pleasure to introduce to open today's panel the moderator and also the chairman of our board. Please welcome Paxton Baker.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning. All right. Love to get that energy up. What a wonderful day in Washington, D.C. It's my pleasure to be here with you. As Erica mentioned, my name is Paxton Baker. I am the 7th chairman of the Congressional Award and also now the longest serving chairman. I joined the board 20 years ago, and after 3 years on the board, I was asked to be vice chairman. And then I was asked to be chairman, and I've been serving this role since 2007. And it's been quite a journey, particularly for the young people out there. Once again, very welcome. I got a chance to speak with a few of you yesterday afternoon out at the Water Building. It was a lovely day. Everybody have a good time out there yesterday evening? Sure. All right, lovely. So while I was there, I've certainly welcomed. Do we have any board members in the room this morning? There we go. Anybody else? We got one board member here, Diana. She's representing everybody on the board. Okay. So I'm going to bring two of our panelists out right now by way of just a little bit of shopkeeping. Senator Lummis is on her way to join us. She's going to be here for a brief amount of time. So while she's here, we're going to maximize her time and focus on that. There are votes today on both the congressional side and the Senate side. So Senator Lummis is going to be joining us early. We'll have her with us. And then later, Congressmember Beatty from Ohio is going to come. She'll deliver a few remarks as well. So we're going to maximize the time of the members while we're here. And as Erica mentioned, we're going to get to questions a lot earlier. So we have two panelists that are here. They're going to be here throughout. They're both from the Intuit side, who are the sponsors of our panel today. Let's bring out Mike Kennedy. And Leah Landaverde. Leah? So one of the themes you'll hear on each of the panels today is going to be the importance of volunteerism, and that certainly is one of the key components of the award. It's, for me personally, it's one of the things that I've built my life and my career on, and something that I come back to throughout the whole of my career has been volunteerism and also the relationships that you build. One of the beautiful things about volunteerism is that you're giving, and in the process of giving, you receive a multitude of benefits, many of which you're not actually familiar with while you go through the process of giving them. But they're natural things that come back to you by sharing and developing relationships and friendships and things that can benefit you throughout the course of the whole of your career. So for myself, all of the benefits well, let me pause for a second. We've got Senator Lummis here with us. Come on, Senator Lummis. Senator Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming. So the importance of volunteerism, the importance of building relationships, the importance of building friendships. My journey with the award, as I mentioned, started back in 2003. I was general manager at Black Entertainment Television, and originally I was asked by a friend who was the director of development for the award to run a public service announcement. Then the next year she came back and she asked to produce a public service announcement. And then after that, I was asked to join the board. A couple years on the board, asked to become vice chairman, and a couple years after that became chairman. So I can't stress the importance of volunteerism and the benefits of the relationships that you get from sharing of yourself and giving of yourself. That's part of the core of what the program offers, and that's why it was so important for me. I think that the things that you're passionate about are things that you will be successful with. You have much greater opportunity of success if you're passionate about whatever it happens to be you're applying yourself to. So the beauty of this program is that it allows across the board. For some, it's sports. For some, it's technology. For some, it's engineering. For some, it's the arts. A wide array of different opportunities that the award gives you to work on, and that's why this has been so important to me. So one of my key friendships that I should mention is Senator Lummis. And my history and the award's history with the state of Wyoming, although it's the least populated state, it was only a couple years ago that California, New Jersey, and Florida overtook the amount of medalists from Wyoming just by sheer numbers of the amount of people that are in the states. But Wyoming has been the leading state. Senator Malcolm Wallop founded the program back in 1979, and Wyoming has been pretty much in the lead the whole way through. They integrate it throughout all the young people in the state have the opportunity to join it and benefit from it. So we're going to start with Senator Lummis, and we'll get to questions a lot quicker than the last panel did. So as Erica mentioned, please be ready to ask questions sooner than later, and we hope to have some fun dialogue.
Well, thank you, Paxton, and I can't describe, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to every gold medalist. This is something you earned. I know the criteria to which you are held in order to get a gold medal. And it is a lot of work, a lot of character building, a lot of personal strength, and a tremendous commitment and to disciplining yourself to meet these criteria. So, gold medalists, my goodness, congratulations. You earned this award. It is the highest award that Congress gives to young people. And so know that this is a big deal, and you earned this big deal. So thank you all. I also want to tell you how significant it is that Paxton Baker is the chairman of the Congressional Awards Board. This man is wildly successful in his life and yet gives back again and again and again to the community he serves and to the people of this country. And it's just such a big deal, Paxton, that you do this. I'm always so grateful for your friendship and advice and wise counsel.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. There are so many opportunities that you're going to receive in your life if you're willing to walk through the door. I'm one of those people who never knew what I really wanted to do in my life, but certain opportunities would present themselves that I wasn't expecting, and I just chose to walk through the door. And if you walk through that door and you show that you're interested, interesting, willing to learn, willing to work and commit and try and see if this is something that dovetails with your passion, you will not believe the people that will be willing to help you. Take advantage of those people. There are people like Paxton. There were people who mentored me, and I wasn't even aware sometimes of who was mentoring me or why. But as I look back in my life, they made a huge difference in my life. And for those of us who had that experience in life and now are older, we want to do that for you. We want to pay it forward. We know how much it meant to us when people would help us when we were your age. So just know that there are people who are dying to help you succeed, and take advantage of those people. You know, I have a couple of staffers here today who are, young, skilled, ambitious, but have been willing to stretch and give themselves additional opportunities. I want to point out Zach. Zach's here taking pictures. Zach, would you wave higher so they know you're there? Yeah. So Zach is one of those people. A lot of young people have tremendous skill in social networking platforms. It's something that I don't have a skill set at, but so I rely on Zach to do a lot of our social media press engagement. He's fabulous at it. And this is his last week with me. He's moving on to become the press secretary for Senator Joni Ernst, who is in the Senate leadership. And we're going to miss him terribly, but he's the perfect example of a person who's young, understands social media, knows that I don't, knows that if we work together, we can have this relationship that benefits both of us. And I'm just so delighted that the advancement in his skill set is taking him on to the next level, to be the press secretary for another U.S. senator. You're welcome back in my office anytime, any day, if the Joni Ernst thing doesn't work out. But the point is, if you want that to be you, if you think, hey, Zach's doing something I'm interested in, there's a way. All these senators and representatives have these websites that attract you as interns. And once you intern, and if you find out this is your thing, it's a great opportunity here. If you're working for Intuit, by the way, thank you, Intuit, for being a major sponsor of these young people, because these are the people that are going to be. Did you? Oh my gosh! So talk about that.
Yeah, I also started as a Senate intern, so it you know, like Zach, we all get started kind of doing these type of things. So it's great. It's a great opportunity.
So now Michael is the Chief Corporate Affairs Officer in Intuit. I mean, think about that. So we are you. We see ourselves, and our eyes see ourselves in you. And so we're just so proud of our gold medalists. At any rate, I serve on the banking committee. I also serve on the environment committee and on the commerce committee. They all have jurisdiction over transportation. I'm the only senator that sits on all three committees that have jurisdiction over transportation. So I've learned a lot about airlines, railroads, highways, and the pivotal manner in which they are integrated into everything that happens in our daily lives. That was not where I set out. When I was a little kid, I used to ride my Shetland pony out to the Union Pacific Railroad tracks that were right next to my ranch and wave at the engineers. And I thought, man, I want to be a railroad engineer because they get to drive those trains from Cheyenne to North Platte, Nebraska. They get to go clear to Nebraska. And you just don't know. You just don't know where life is going to lead you. But if you walk through those doors and you think you might want to try this out on for size and see if you have a passion for it, you'll be surprised. I had a passion for financial issues, for money issues. I got to serve as Wyoming State Treasurer. I got to invest billions of dollars and learn about stocks and bonds and international equities and private equity. And it was fascinating, and I got to learn it as an adult just because I had this interest in it as a young person. And then that took me, oddly enough, into the world of digital assets, Bitcoin, stable coins, and now I'm deeply involved in making America's policy through legislation with regard to digital assets, Bitcoin, stable coins, commodities, securities, how to have a regulatory framework that these new industries can use. So we have consumer protection and innovation. When I was your age, I never would have guessed that I would end up there. But if those doors open, walk through them. Let people mentor you. I was mentored in Bitcoin by people that are less than half my age, which is not a surprise, because those are the people who can grasp the innovation. So the people that will mentor you can come in any age, shape, size, place. Walk through those doors. I have to go vote, but I'd much rather spend the rest of the day with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment to being a great American. This is the greatest nation in the world. We're going through a phase where we're a little exhausted. To be honest, as a federal government, we need your eyes, your vitality, your commitment to our country to make it strong again. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Senator Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming. So now we'll move down here. Mike and Leah, if you would share a welcoming statement about yourselves, and then we'll go into questions right on the other side of it.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for having us here. It's an honor to be with you today. Congratulations. I know how much work is going on. I'm also on the board with Paxton, and it is remarkable to think about the hours that you've put in, and congratulations. It is, I'm in awe of you, and I look forward to working for you someday. You know, I'm also, my name is Michael Kennedy. I'm the Chief Corporate Affairs Officer at Intuit, based here in Washington, D.C. I was a Senate intern and then worked in the Senate as well, was Chief of Staff to a senator, and then have been on the corporate side as well, on the lobbying side as well. And it is a terrific place to be. And so people who are interested in working in this town, in this body. I met my wife here in this building, and so this is a very special place for me, and an honor to be here with you. I'll let Leah introduce herself, but one of the biggest honors we have at Intuit, because we have so many small businesses on our network, and we believe in powering the prosperity of small businesses, is we get to have a small business council that comes here and participates in working on policy and making sure that Congress and members of Congress are thinking about the best kind of policy for small businesses, whether it be AI policy or other financial policies. We also push for financial literacy, and I think we'll talk about it as well. And Leah is a member of our Small Business Council, and you may recognize her from TikTok and other places like that. But I'm in awe of her as well, and the amount of knowledge that she brings to people, that she brings here to the Capitol and shares with members of Congress, and real practical advice of running her own business, helping other people run their own business, start their side hustles, start their other things, and I hope most of the questions go to her because she's the real smart one on this panel.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, hola, I am Leah Landaverde. I'm flying in from Dallas, Texas today. I'm originally from Utah, born and raised, but I'm a child of immigrants from El Salvador. I am the Latina wealth activist on TikTok and Instagram, so if you find me there, you can stalk me and learn a little bit about money. But I'm also the founder of the Riqueza Collective. Riqueza is the Spanish word for wealth, where I provide with my team financial education for the people by the people. We have a different model, a holistic view on money that really ties to your lifestyle, because most of the time when we talk about money, it kind of gives textbook, right? A little boring. And we have found a way to really ignite the fire of money within the younger generation. So thank you again for having me here.
Thank you, Leah. Thanks, both of you, for the introduction. So we'll go right into questions. And I'll start with, for both of you, what are some of the key principles that you think that young entrepreneurs should keep in mind when starting their own business?
Oh, okay. I'll take that one. You know, when you're starting your own business, personally, it started with a fire within me of a passion that I had about education. I did not ever plan on starting a business. I thought I was gonna be, you know, a 9-to-5 at Goldman Sachs. I used to work there for almost 4 years. I thought I was gonna be an MD, but during the pandemic, a fire was lit up in me about how there is disparities of wealth and education within marginalized communities. And as someone who has a master's and bachelor's in finance, and I had all this knowledge, I used to work in wealth management, I was like, how can I serve better my people when my tia, my aunt, is calling me, telling me she just got laid off, that she doesn't know what to do, she needs to start a business. How do I even start an LLC? What are my business finances gonna look like? How does that impact my personal finances? And so that's where that passion came in, and I started a business based on that passion. And so when you think about your journey in life, like I didn't even know that I myself am a business. Like these day and age, like because of social media, you yourself can be a business and what you're passionate about. You know, whether you like to dance and make videos about you dancing, or you're very into, you know, science and plants or whatever it might be, these days you can literally be anything. So my tip is really just lead with passion, and from there, you know, gain the knowledge to pursue how can I reach to my customers, how can my passion impact a consumer or an individual and change their lives. So that's my tip.
Do you think I could have like a TikTok dance following?
Oh yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fantastic. We'll start right here. It'll go viral. So just a question for people here. I mean, how many want to start their own business one day? How many may have already started your own business?
Oh wow. Okay.
And how many wish you knew more about starting a business and how to do it? So one thing that we're doing at Intuit is we're partnering with the Congressional Awards Foundation and our division we call Intuit for Education. And we're providing a module on personal finance and entrepreneurship and giving it away across the country. And these are skills, we've done some surveys, about a third of Americans can pass a basic financial literacy test, and yet 85% of high school students want it taught regularly. And there are new laws being introduced statewide in different states that are requiring this for graduation. And so we've created this 150-hour module that have different sections in personal finance and in entrepreneurship, and we're partnering with the Congressional Awards Foundation to be able to make sure that this can get as in many schools as possible for free. And the cool part about it is that we at Intuit believe we make the best software possible for small businesses to thrive and survive and grow. And you get with these modules, you get to practice on real software. And so you get to use things like QuickBooks and TurboTax and MailChimp and practice in it. And again, we're doing this, trying to do this across the country for free. And we're really, really excited about the partnership with the Congressional Awards Foundation to help young people and older people figure this out.
So one thing that's been consistent throughout at least our brief session that we've had so far on stage is the word passion. And I would say for myself, that's been the core of my success, has been following my passions. And I often heard on panels like this, when I was coming up, what are the most important things? And I would always hear people say, finding something that you love, finding something that you're passionate about. Well, for me, it was both music and also sports. Two of the things that I've been most passionate about in my life from 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And never thinking that I would have an opportunity on the music side to work with the biggest names in show business, starting in my 20s, to building a career producing music festivals around the whole of the world. And then while I was doing that, get into television, working with BET, and while I was doing that, have the opportunity to join the ownership group of the Washington Nationals baseball team. All of it through passion, all of it through working with things that I loved. So to both of you, I'll come back now to a quick question. That was your first breakthrough that you felt like you had, that was a pivotal moment for you that ended up giving you the opportunity to go to the next level.
Okay, always me. It's the power of social media. It was 2 years ago, and I got in a little discussion with my parents. I have this knowledge of finance, and I'm telling them, this is during the crypto haze. Everybody's like, oh, you need to, invest in crypto during the pandemic. And my dad was telling me, my dad's from El Salvador, right? He didn't go to school. He went to 3rd grade. That's pretty much as much education as he got. But he runs a successful landscaping business. And he's being told by his clients that, you need to invest in crypto, you're going to make a lot of money off of it. And I'm over here like, okay, well, Dad, you haven't even invested in the stock market. Like, you don't even have stocks or bonds. You don't have a retirement account. You don't have a Roth IRA. You don't even have a brokerage account. You barely, use your savings account. So come on now, like, crypto? You want to go that far? All right. And I'm over here telling him, and he's like, Leah, no, it's because my client is telling me this. And I'm like, okay, so you believe your client over your daughter? All right, bet. Okay. So then I'm frustrated, so I'm gonna go to the gym, and I go into the car, and, I have a TikTok account, but it wasn't anything like, I had like 300 followers. I was bigger on Instagram than I was, on TikTok. So I film. And if you go to my profile, you'll find that video. It's pinned. I'm like, I'm saying, I have education in finance. I have a master's degree, and my parents don't listen to me. They don't care that I have all this knowledge. They'd rather listen to somebody else. And I'm over here telling them that, obviously you need to invest. But I understand that they went through financial scarcities during the '08 crisis and as well in El Salvador. But it's so frustrating that they don't listen to me. And that video went viral. That video went viral to the point it got 1 million views. My account went from 300 to 60,000 followers in about, 3-4 days. And all of a sudden, from there, I just kept creating content. I was like, okay, let's go, right? You want to hear about my struggles? Let's go, right? So I started talking about my journey to finance, things that I've learned in my journey, got a little vulnerable about my financial mistakes, what I've learned, as well as, some theory, but made it fun. I'm like, come to class, besties, let's talk about money. And, it really took me to the next level. And again, this is around the era of becoming a creator. And so I ended up becoming a creator, and I started getting brand partnerships, getting paid $1,000, $3,000. I started with $200, but it started escalating to the point that here I am today. I never thought that I would be here in front of you all, okay? I was making a TikTok video in my car, going to the gym, and 2 years later, here I am, and it really took, I guess, being vulnerable and knowing that there's people out there to listen to your story, regardless of where you come from, because there's not another version of you. Like, I am me, you are you, and who knows who wants to listen to your story, your passion. And thankfully, my story wanted to be heard. And that really, took me up in my career and brought me places here.
Yeah, this may be controversial, Paxton, but I would say passion is really important. I think also find something that's interesting is also really important. And I was in high school and in college, I was passionate about singing and acting. And I liked it, I did it, but I also knew that I probably wasn't good enough to be a professional singer or actor. And so what I found is things that I thought were interesting and that kept me mentally engaged, and things that I always could learn and stretch on. And I found kind of this nexus of politics and business. And I started working on the Hill. I did internships. I worked for companies. I had clients who were companies and other entities. And I think what has been great about this career is that it's always been interesting to me. And I've always found new things to stretch and learn and do things. And, like Shaq wanted to be a rapper, right? His passion was rap and hip hop. And it was pretty evident to him that, when you're 7'2", that maybe you should play basketball, right? And so, like, I'm not 7'2", so it wasn't that evident to me, but his passion was not basketball. But it was something he was good at, and it was interesting to him, and he was able to excel in, so that then he eventually made the, renowned film, celebrated film Shazam, where he got to rap a little bit, and I think I had a couple albums because of that. But he followed his interests and his skills and his abilities, in addition, that then was an outlet for his passions. And so I think if you can marry the two things of interest, skill, natural abilities, and then passions into there, you can be fulfilled in no matter what you're doing.
Great. So let's get the audience set for questions. And while we're going to that, I'm going to ask one more quick question while we're bringing people down to ask questions. Let's get that started.
Do we have any gold medalists that want to come start forming two queues? Here we go.
So while we're doing that, the last question I'm asked before everybody joins in is failure, and how you've maneuvered a massive failure that hit you early on, and your advice on that.
Well, failure is a good thing. A lot of us think that it's scary and it's, we failed and, we get sad. And of course it's sad, but I think failure allows you to pivot. I wouldn't even call them failures. I've learned my lessons of what doesn't work in business. I started my business pretty much almost 3 years ago, and I'm not the same business owner that I was then. A lot of my business models have pivoted, and even today I'm pivoting again because I'm finding the niche of what the bread and butter of my business, and it takes time. Small businesses, it's 50% chance that you'll succeed, in the first 5 years of your business. And so you kind of have to navigate, almost like a race car kind of, okay, do I take a left? Do I take a right? What's best for me? And so, I don't like to call them failures, I call them lessons, but I have had them. And, I've broken down, I'm like, why is this happening to me? But what's the opportunity that I can take from this? What's the lesson that I can learn? And this applies to life as well, right? You can fail in life or you fail a test, but, you can always retake it again. It's not the end of the world. We can always try again. We can always pivot. And maybe your passion lies elsewhere. Sometimes I'm a strong believer that the universe is going to guide you in the right lane. And, if that means pivoting, you're going to get the sign that you need to pivot, and then you'll be rewarded for that. So that's how I, deal with failure.
Yeah, I think this is a country that allows us to fail. And if you, to echo what Senator Lummis said, is that you find the mentors along the way. I interned in college in the Senate, thought I was going to go into business and go to business school. Graduated from college, went to a management consulting firm, and then it was in the late 90s, went to a startup when if you just had a website, people would throw, millions of dollars at you. And so I thought we was going to this .com, and we did the startup, and I moved from Boston to Los Angeles for it, and we launched our business plan 2 weeks before the NASDAQ crashed in the .com bust. And so all this funding that we had lined up, all these customers and things that we had lined up, went away overnight. And I had come from a place and graduated from a school and things where success was almost a liability, right? It was expected. And here I was, we had employed people who we couldn't pay anymore. We had we had a warehouse that was becoming empty. And it felt like just this huge failure. It was a huge failure. It was a spectacular failure. And but this is a country that allows for failure. And so going back to also what the senator said, I had a mentor in the Senate. And so when this company and this business failed, I turned around and said, what am I going to do with my life? This was the direction. I was already, counting the hundreds of millions of dollars that I was going to make and all the kind of stuff that went away. And so I called up a mentor who was the chief of staff when I was an intern, and he was kind to me. And we sat at a Wendy's in Utah, and over a Frosty, he said, "Hey, why don't you come back to Washington again? You were interested in that. Why don't you come check it out?" And I was like, I don't know. I thought I'd do that later in my career. He said, "Come check it out for a summer." And he mentored me along the way and allowed me a landing place after this failure. And I came back here and never left. And I was supposed to be here just for the summer, and that was in 2000. And so I've never left, and I've never looked back, and it's been terrific. So I think don't be afraid to fail. It is not a liability. It is an opportunity.
Great, thank you. So we'll now, for the young people coming up to the gold medalists coming up, we'd like you to identify yourself and where you're from, and let's go with the questions.
Hi, my name is Zainab Sahin. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm a rising senior, and I have my own e-commerce business, and I'd like to develop AI products for companies like Intuit or Amazon. And I wanted to ask you, how would you recommend we find a place for our own products or smaller businesses in industries that are often dominated by these bigger companies? How do you recommend that we make a place for ourselves and kind of get more attention to what we're building, what we're creating?
Gosh, that's such a great question, and I love that you're doing this. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's amazing. We believe in that, right? And that's one of the things we're really pushing for here, and that my team here in Washington is pushing for, is that what we see right now in the conversation, especially here in Washington, is that it's focused on big companies, really big companies, focus on the big risks, and all the things that AI is going to do to ruin the world, right? Risk to elections, risk to democracy, risk to our security, risk to our economy. And what we're trying to do is say, yes, these are real risks that we need to think about and smart people need to engage and worry about and plan for. and we need to look at this as a huge opportunity for small business owners and creators. And if I came here to this building at the end of the 1800s, of the 19th century, and I said, hey, listen, in 100 years, fewer than 5% of this economy will be based on farming. Whereas at that time, it was more than 90%. People would have freaked out. Oh, what are we going to do? Our economy's going to be in shambles. But they adjusted. They grew. So we're trying to make that conversation real and enabling for small business owners like yourselves to adopt, create, have a space for innovation, and have funds and other things like that that will spur that along. So thank you for what you're doing. I'd love to chat with you afterward and learn more. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, hi, my name is Trisha Jha. I am an incoming freshman at Carnegie Mellon University doing a double major in business, AI, as well as robotics. So I also am in 4 C-suite boards for nonprofits. I've started 3 businesses, and I'm also running one of my core nonprofits, Teacher Today. And what I've looked at, I worked with around 500 volunteers, probably over, that I'm trying to help other people start nonprofits, and I've learned that resources are actually not very, well, prevalent, especially for minors. I remember I was on a call with the IRS for 3 hours trying to get my account functioning because I'm a minor and I couldn't file my taxes. So, tax fraud. However, what I've learned is we don't have any mentors. Or if we do have mentors, they aren't really entrepreneurs, or they don't look at us as business owners. So what do you suggest? How should we approach people like that? How should we work with people like that? And what is the best way to find a mentor to help our ambitions?
I would like to take this one. Okay, first of all, girl, you're doing way more than I did in college, first of all. But, as someone who is now in the creator field and a small business owner and learning about all the AI technology and using it for my business, and when people tell me, what do you do, or how do you do that? Like, how does that make sense? How are you a creator? Like, how do you make income, or how do you integrate AI into your business? I was literally here a month ago advocating for small businesses to have AI considered into policies because we use it on a day-to-day basis. I was here a month ago. And so you're going to be the shining light within everywhere you go because you're already so much more advanced than people today that are supposed to be our mentors. I am very young as well, and I had to be the mentor, the young mentor for younger people than me, or even older individuals. I started my career at Goldman Sachs at 19 years old, and I was a manager by 20. So and my team was like in their 30s and 40s, and I had to mentor them and guide them. And so I just want you to know, just because you might be younger, you're doing a lot. You're a business owner. You have a lot more skill sets than a lot of adults have. Right, because you're managing teams, you're growing people, you're mentoring them. And so in this light and age, it is hard to find a mentor. I find it very hard myself, even to this day. So what I have done is go to networking events, find connections with individuals that are maybe pursuing or igniting the fire within that industry that you're passionate about. Connect with them, and that's how I have found mentors. And again, it's still hard. I know when you call the IRS, it's going to take a while, and that's a whole different story. But, you are also a mentor, and know that, it can be hard, but tell your story. Someone will listen, and someone will believe in you, and someone will guide you to the shining light. And that's how I have made my connections. So again, thank you so much, and I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I would add to that, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, you're going to be going to a place a university that is full of really smart people who are doing a lot of these same things, and there's going to be business people and professors and other things like that who are going to be there. And don't be afraid to ask for advice and for help. There are people who show up there who want to know. You have professors who will have office hours, and even if you don't have questions about the course, go and just ask them about advice for your career. If you were me, what would you do? And things like that. People love to give advice, and they love people who are interested in what they do. And so I think don't be afraid to find those mentors yourselves and ask. Go ask for a 30-minute coffee, ask for whatever you can for whatever time, and you'll find the right people.
I want to add to that. You sound like an amazing young person. I love all of what I've heard. All of us that were up here smiling when you were introducing yourself and the amount of accomplishments that you've made already. I would add to it really networking as much as possible, and also on different sites, write to people on LinkedIn, on Instagram. I'm not as TikTok-y as Leah is here, but certainly for LinkedIn. I respond to all of the people who write me on LinkedIn myself. Now, I don't give it to somebody else to do. I do it myself. And you'd be surprised on how many other people do who have large followings that they read what you write on Instagram, and you have an opportunity to interface. So I would really stress the networking part. And then also while you were at school, student clubs, that's how I really got started with my career, was both on the music side, primarily on the music entertainment side, was in school through student activities. I started a student-run jazz series at Temple University back in 1984. So don't sleep the opportunities from networking, from different clubs and things that you can participate with through the school process. So good luck. We expect really, really quality things from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This side.
Good morning, panelists. My name is Yashwar Sabharwal, and I'm a rising senior in Northern Virginia. First of all, I just want to thank you all for being here. It really means a lot to me, and I'm sure everyone else in the room. But as a young researcher, I'm often, find myself on my computer doing research and, in silico environments. And my current research is on artificial intelligence and MRI in neuroscience specifically. But as a young researcher, I often find it very hard to find resources for myself to do my own research at 17 years old. So I was curious, what offer would you advise to people who are in the same boat as me, who often find troubles getting funding or getting different grants to continue their own research, or potentially I want to create my own company in the future, which involves my research interests and also the entrepreneurship side of it as well. So what advice would you give for people who are trying to find funding or grants at this young age?
I think, I'm not an expert in that by any means, but I think I've talked to other people like the small business administrator here who has the same frustration, that the small business administration here can give grants out to small businesses, but they're not allowed to give them to people under 18, right? And so that's why we're trying to think about the ways that we can do and partner with things like the Congressional Awards Foundation and the government on kind of doing educational opportunities and getting that out there for free. I think also, some universities will treat things in different ways, and sometimes it's even hard for a first or second year university student to get that research in there and the research funding, and sometimes you have to be, a graduate student or things like that. But I think find that mentor. Go to the universities, tell them what you're working on, say, hey, what advice would you give to me? And I think the interest will follow, and sometimes the grant money will follow. I think it is really difficult. I worked at a university for 3 years, that was a research university, and try to get grants of their own, and it is hard-fought money and really difficult, but I think you can find the partners and the mentors to help you along that way. And be patient. I think, keep learning, keep growing. You've got a lot of years and a lot of opportunities, so be patient with it.
Yeah, and just don't stop networking and always tell your story. That's what I'm going to say. Your story matters, and what you're passionate about matters, and you never know who's in the room that wants to listen. Someone here might be listening and it's like, all right, I got some money, I can help you, but just always tell your story, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Grace Bourbon. I'm an incoming freshman at Syracuse University. I'm going for biochem and biomedical engineering.
Talk a little more. Come a little closer to the mic.
A little closer. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
much better.
All right. I'm an incoming freshman at Syracuse University. I'm going for biochem and biomedical engineering in their accelerated master's program. I do want to start my own business in the future, focusing on making medical supplies and medical research accessible to communities that don't typically have access to it. I'm just curious, how has your connection to yourself and your connection to your community influenced your success?
This is my bread and butter. My community is my everything. One of our slogans at my company is "Community is our currency," because we know the impact of our community and how we can drive change within, providing the education and knowledge. So depending on the community you want to serve, go there, right? Get to know what their needs are. Connect with the nonprofits that are serving them, right? Or the individuals, the activists that are on the forefront, right, doing the work, and see what the problem is and how can you solve it so that you can give back, right? So I saw a problem of lack of accessible education and knowledge on money and just even having those conversations with professionals. And so I found a solution that could cater to them and where they could feel trust and support from somebody. So that's what I would do, you know, is who are you trying to serve and how can you meet them? How can you get to know their problem? And that's more of your market research, right, when you're actually there, and get involved with the community.
I would agree with that. Intuit's founders 40 years ago wrote this software when kind of the advent of the PC. And they were hanging out at the stores that are no longer around, Radio Shack, where they would sell the software in boxes, and they'd watch people return the software. And early days, they went up and said, "Hey, can I ask you why you're returning the software?" And the people said, "Well, you know, I had a hard time installing it, or I couldn't get this feature to work." And they said, "Well, this is weird, but do you mind if we go home with you and show you how to install it or show you how to work on this?" And people did. And it became kind of a tradition in the company for people to then follow our customers home and get that empathy. And so we do it across the company, and we go and sit with people who are sitting with our software, who are starting small businesses, who are struggling with the same things that you're thinking about. And it gives us that deep customer empathy within the community. And that community, like she says, becomes everything. And so I think that the opportunity for you to get involved in your community, and congratulations on knowing where you're going and knowing what you want to be doing. I think it's terrifically exciting, and I wish you all the success. And I think getting involved in that community, getting that empathy for what people need, it will give you kind of the passion and the drive that we talked about before to continue on. And when the research gets hard and the going gets tough, you'll know what you're doing it for.
So I'll add to that. I am an American. I finished visiting all 50 states in 2016. I've lived in 11 states, lived in 17 cities in 11 states. And I moved to Chevy Chase, Maryland, the last place I moved to in January of '90. And it was my 11th state that I had moved to. I have very much integrated myself in the city of Washington and the metropolitan DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia, as we call it here in the circle, the DMV. I'm very much aware that I'm a part of this community. I've lived here longer, over half my life, longer than any place else that I've lived, and I very much consider myself an integral part of my community, that it has an influence on pretty much everything that I do professionally. I've had the opportunity to meet with everybody from my county council to the last 3 mayors producing their inaugural balls, and also friendships with both the city council and the mayor side, which can somewhat be difficult here in Washington to be friends with both. But I believe that I'm an example of what's possible for the whole of my community. I had the opportunity, there's some young brothers here from Manhood 101. Let me get them to stand up today. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Yesterday, they were the volunteers working as a volunteer. I didn't mention them yesterday. I meant to, but yesterday they were the volunteers that worked with. You guys can sit down. They were the volunteers that worked with us in the entry for everybody. They're from Prince George's County. Most of them are at Flowers High School. I went over and had a chance to spend with them. Rashid is here, and there we go, Rashid. Coach Blue's not here today, but Erica started her relationship with them. They're one of the programs that we adopted with a congressional award, and we're really proud of them because they show an example of what is possible. When I went over and spoke with them, I wanted them to know that opportunities for sports ownership and for entrepreneurship is available to everyone. And I know that I'm a living example of that and have come through it. And the first opportunity I had to meet the Lerner family, who are my senior partners here and the principal owners of the baseball team, who are our host tomorrow, was through my dentist, Dr. Ronnie Rosenberg. So I tell people the lead or the opportunity can come from the most unlikely place that you would think of. So for me, an integral part of the breakthrough in my career was literally when I had the opportunity to go from being general manager of a TV channel to also add being a sports owner as part of my portfolio way back in 2006. That one opportunity has led to me to be a part of 6 different sports ownership groups now, stretching from South Africa to Australia to Europe to right here in the Washington, D.C. area. So opportunities come to you, take advantage of them. The expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You never know what that opportunity is going to be, but when you get it, you have to seize it and be prepared to shake it until you get the benefit of it, and don't let go before you get to it.
Thank you.
I think we have one more over here and then one more over here, and I think we're close to time.
Hello, my name is Alva Kastravi, and I am a rising junior at Canyon Crest Academy in San Diego, California. And Leah, you were mentioning that one of the big turning points in your life was when your TikTok account blew up because of that one video. And I was wondering if there are any other big turning points in your life that led to opportunities.
Yeah, other turning points in my life. I'm a child of immigrants, and I watched my parents go through foreclosure during the 2008 crisis. And I witnessed them struggle and navigate, their finances post that. And my dad came to me and he was like, Leah, I need you to be smart. I need you to, take advantage of the system that we can. We're not from here. Mm-hmm. And I was on the verge of almost dropping out of high school because I was just so frustrated with everything that was going on in my life. But I had a mentor, my counselor in high school, who was like, Leah, you have like a 4.0, girl. Like, you need to take advantage of that. And there's actually a program in high school that you can get your associate's degree called concurrent enrollment in high school for free. And she's like, I'm going to make you apply. I know you don't even want to go to school, but I'm going to make you apply. And I was like, no, I don't want to, but I know my parents can't even afford college right now. We just lost our home. Like, I know we're about to live in my aunt's house in one room with 6 of us, So I let her do it for me. She's like, I'm going to apply for you, and we'll see. It was a lottery, right? And I remember we were packing our bags at the house, and I was like, okay, let me check the mail before we move out. And in the mail, I got the letter, and the letter was like, you got accepted to the Success Academy is what it was called. And not only did I get my associate's degree in business administration when I graduated high school, but it allowed me to take on more opportunities. I met other mentors in college that were like, Leah, you're very intelligent and you're passionate about what you want to do. Let's get you out of St. George, Utah, which is a very small town, and get you into bigger places. And these opportunities, again, you don't really know that they're coming until they're there, and you always have to say yes because you never know where it's gonna take you. Because then she was like, there's a company called Goldman Sachs in Salt Lake City, you should go check it out. And I was like, well, I don't have any connections. My university is small. I went to like a college. It was called Dixie College back then. And I just applied to their new analyst program. I didn't think anything of it. Then that summer came after I graduated and with my bachelor's. And next thing you know, I was accepted into Goldman Sachs, and I was the youngest employee at the firm. And these opportunities, I mean, you're so young, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. But, it pivoted my career because then I got access to a global team. I was managing global individual, people from India, from Warsaw, Poland, to England, and I never would have had these opportunities if I didn't believe in myself, or if my mentor in high school didn't, apply for that program for me to get my associate's degree and for me to continue and get a bachelor's degree for free, and again, that was my beginning of my career where I was like, okay, I have to take these opportunities, and this pivoted me into where I am today. Like, I thank my mentor, may she rest in peace. She passed away with cancer, but you never know who's going to be there for you to advocate for yourself, and you never know what opportunities are going to come next when you say yes.
Wow, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Anne. I'm an incoming college freshman from Illinois, and I was wondering, what is your proudest moment in your career so far?
Make that one quick. Leah?
Being here today, honestly, I'm really proud of here today. I never thought that I would ever get into advocacy. It was something that I was very passionate about in my work. But I'm really proud to be here today to be talking to you all about my story as well as my passion for finances and business. And again, you know, you never know what life is going to take you, and I'm just very proud to be here. So thank you.
I was very proud to work in this building, in the government, and to work for the Senate. You know, what you see on the news, what you hear about is just dysfunction and vitriol and a lot of problems. What really happens in this building is a lot of really good people, mostly good people, working to solve people's problems. And to be able to be part of that and to be a small part of that where you think, you know, you're working on big ideas, big problems, and you can have a big impact on people's life with your little bit of work is a privilege. And so if anybody has the opportunity to work in public service in any way, work for the government, work for the military, work for things like that, I would highly recommend it. It was probably the hardest years of my career, but also the proudest.
Thank you.
So I'll end with it's tough to do one, because I'd say one is being a parent. That would be right at the top. Two for me would be winning the World Series, and then various productions that I've done from the White House to the Washington Monument to the Gateway of India to different parts of the world that I've done would be right at the top of it. And then lastly would be mentoring. The amount of people who I've had the opportunity to touch over the course of my career and to help and see them benefit. We were the first panel when Ray Cairns was talking about working for people would be people who I've brought up and helped bring in and see them rise to some pretty prominent positions. It's been such a meaningful thing for me to be able to be a part of it. So we're going to end with one last question to Michael, and we'll do a unabashed plug on this one for Intuit and thank them for sponsoring both the panel today and their involvement with the Congressional Award, which has been very meaningful. A lot of the programs, so all of the money that we raise for the award goes into the program itself, by way of hoping to expand it, to bring in more people on an annual basis. We have a very small staff, and I did want to thank them today. If we can get the Congressional Award staff to wave where we are. Rachel's back there, staff members. We have a very small staff. Everybody works hard. They do about 5 or 6 different jobs, not just 1 or 2. So they have to think on their feet all the time. And we have a great group of young people who run and work with the award. And I should mention for Erica that this is her 25th gold medal ceremony. She came to the award right out of college. So, right out of college, came to the award and has worked through a number of different positions at the award. Literally her 25th gold medal ceremony, and has done an amazing job as the national director, which she's been in for about the last 10 years, 12 years? As director? Wow. Okay, well, I've learned something today. It's pretty amazing. So, Mike, on the Intuit side, you've heard a lot of questions from younger entrepreneurs here today, and the question for them is, one, on best things on starting a business, and then on maintaining a business. So what programs do you guys have for young entrepreneurs?
Yeah, listen, I think first is start with the new program that we're doing with the Congressional Awards Foundation and the Personal Finance and Entrepreneurship Program.
Tell us about that briefly.
Yeah, it's so there's 150 hours of curriculum that exists. We don't expect you to do all 150 hours. It's kind of you can choose and pick, but it focuses on all kinds of things that I think help people understand what it takes to start a business. And you can't know where you're going until you know where you are. And so this helps kind of ground yourself in that kind of knowledge. It deals with how to manage risk. How do you make investments? What's your exit strategy? It talks about loans. It talks about insurance. It talks about investing. And so it is a kind of interactive 150 hours that people can do and pick and choose. And I think that is a great way to do that. We know that through our networks, that, like I was mentioned, 50%, half of small businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. And we hope that with this program, with the software tools, with the AI that we're baking into the software tools, that survivorship goes up. The more people that use these tools, understand where they are, what their cash flows look like, how to run their business and give them the business insights, it makes that survivability beyond
And how do people find out about it or find it?
You can find it on the Congressional Awards Foundation website. And so I encourage you to look there. It's exciting, and again, it's all free.
We love free.
All right, so thank you to my panelists. Thank you for Senator Lummis. Unfortunately, Congressman Beatty was caught up in votes and wasn't able to make it. We thanked her as well for the effort. I'll end by thanking my partners, the Lerner family, who are the principal owners of the Washington Nationals Baseball Club. So when we come out to the park tomorrow, that's under the auspice of Ed Cohen, who's a member of the Lerner family, who are partners with the Congressional Award now. And we've been doing this for at least feels like 10 years. With the participation with the baseball stadium. So we're looking forward to getting everybody out to take a picture on the field tomorrow. That's one of the highlights of the weekend. The board members will come up. You'll get a chance to talk with them tomorrow as well. And then we look forward to hosting everybody for baseball. So thank you so much for being a part of our panel, and the young people who asked the questions in particular, thank you for your participation. Erica?
Everyone. Greatly appreciate the panel. We now have a break for lunch, and I know a lot of you have meetings. We have our Global Sustainability panel back here at 2:30, and then we will have our final panel of the day for STEM education, followed by the reception here in the hall for celebrating all of our STEM stars. So we look forward to seeing everybody again at 2:30.